Alrighty, hello and welcome back to day 3 of East Coast Clash here in Reservoir, Victoria. I am Kilbo Baggins from Dragon City Roller Derby. Super happy to be bringing you this Division 1 matchup between Westside Roller Derby and Convict City Roller Derby. Just before we get started, we'd like to do our acknowledgement of country, and we pay respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and we acknowledge this event is taking place on Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung land. Always was, always will be. Now, before we get started with 3 minutes left till Derby, I'd like to run us through the rosters for both our teams today. So for Convict City Derby, we have 00 Cicada, 025 Blocktopus, 1 Megs, 1331 Tiny Temper, 23 Okosaurus, 33 Princess Screech, 66 Ken Miles, 73 Push in Boots, 85 Deva Death Roll, 91 Violet Crumble, 005 The Chuggernaut, 06 Mai, 13 Alabama Hurley, 188 Deadly Red, 27 Anageddon, 54 Vixen, 7 Jackknife, 8 Duchess, 86 Bad Wolf, and 93 Ray. And for Westside Roller Derby, 104 Nuclear Force Out, 108 Tripitaka, 1618 Victoria Beater, 19 Double Whammy, 23 Machine, 44 Riven Townsend, 68 Crazy Jackal, 78 Hellcat, 89 Massacre Jones, 105 Bleeder of the Pack, 109 Club Slamwich, 17 Liz Vegas, 212 Intensive Claire Unit, 34 Bashalot, 442 Mossy Rocks, 73 Siebes the Day, and 811 Jukebox. So the teams now are just doing their chants, getting ready to hop on the track. And just a reminder that it is extremely hot and humid in Melbourne today. We had some rain overnight, so it is going to be hard work for both our teams today. So we'd like to do a big shout out to our first aiders, Deadly Sports Plus. They are an Aboriginal-led and LGBTIQA SB-led charity providing high-quality training and first aid services for all. They are making sure all our skaters are hydrated, kept cool, and are ready to skate safely and skate hard. And you are just joining me on the live chat. We are about to get started. We have 1 minute left till Derby. The teams are gearing up, ready to go, and we're just about ready to get started. So our first pods are ready to take the track. Can't quite see from my angle. I am blocked by a fair few officials from where my commentary box is sitting, so do forgive me if it takes some time to identify our jammers before we get started. And looks like we have a pivot off right at the jam line here. Both our pivots starting side by side, having a smile, getting familiar, ready for the Derby action for this Div 1 game to begin. So the countdown to Derby has just expired. We're just waiting for one of our wonderful officials to finish tying up their skates, gearing up, and get ready to go. We cannot do Derby without our officials, so we're more than happy to give them a minute just to get ready before the game begins and our rolling whistle signals the start of our bout. So I am just blocked here by the West Side bench, but we can't blame them because they're a wonderful crew. But it does seem like we do have Tripitaka up to jam for West Side as the rolling whistle signals the start of our game. 5 seconds is called and we are about to begin. Convict City rolling all the way back, ready to squeeze onto that West Side jammer. And some wonderful work from 188 from Convict City, offering offense to allow their jammer to sneak through for lead. Trippy from Westside about half a track behind, racing down to try and catch. A wonderful hit out from 105 from Westside Roller Derby. That is bleeder of the pack, holding both teams scoreless for that jam. So we're starting with a double donut to get going, shaking off some nerves, getting on track, ready to go. And if you're joining me on the live stream, please tell me more about Convict City. This is my first time watching them play. I'm very, very excited and so grateful they've come all this way to join us for a weekend of Derby. Please let me know some fun facts or your favourite players on the team as we get started with Crazy Jackal jamming for Westside Roller Derby. And again, some wonderful offense, and that's from player 188 from Convict City, allowing their jammer through for lead. Crazy Jackal is stuck behind a very imposing Convict City tripod, as that is 0-1 Megs jamming for Convict City, coming through on a scoring pass. And looks like we have our first penalty of the game. That is Siebes the Day for Westside being sent to the bin. So we do have a pack advantage now for Convict City, 4v3. As Megs has come through for 4 points and is coming around for a second scoring pass. Crazy Jackal from Westside just pushing and pushing up against the tripod at the front, trying to break apart and forcing Convict City to drop players and bridge to hold that pack together. And that is 4 more points for Convict City. They are content to run this jam long as Crazy Jackal is still working on their initial pass. Siebes a Day from Westside is released from the bin, looking to work with Crazy Jackal, who's completed their initial, but Convict City is having none of that, grabs 3 more points and calls off the jam. So that is first points on the board for Convict City, 11 to get started. What a wonderful way to get their game going. And yes, Jessica, on our live chat, it is another great day for some awesome derby. The sun's shining. Unfortunately, the sun's shining a bit too hot, but it is really wonderful to be here in our lovely, lovely Darebin Community Sports Stadium. So we have Jukebox up for Westside Roller Derby as we have a few tumbles allowing them to sneak up the outside and zoom on past through that apex. The star has been stashed by 7-3 from Convict. That is Push in Boots, has come through for their initial. Jukebox trying to grab as many points as they can, listens to their bench, calls it off, and looks like they successfully grabbed 2 points, getting Westside their first points on the board. Oh, thank you for the information on the live chat. Megs, their first tournament. That is really incredible to watch. We've had a fair few debutantes across the teams that I have watched on this weekend, and it's great to see players coming through first tournaments, first games, watching them do excellent, excellent things. A very scrummy together pack to get started for this next jam. And Club Slamwich for Westside Roller Derby makes advantage of that mess and sneaks up the outside to grab lead. And that is 8-6 jamming for Convict City. That's Apples. Both coming through for a scoring pass as Apples just slips through that Westside defense, barely even touches anyone for 4 points. As Club Slamwich is really working on a very set Convict tripod there. Offense comes in from her team and she runs right into the pivot. Getting the call there from her bench to call before any more points can be gotten. So that is 4 point. Oh, sorry, I do apologize. That's 8-point jam for Convict City and Westside on 4 points for that last jam. So as these teams get settled into this first half, we are sitting so far with Convict City on 19 and Westside on 6 points. And speaking of debutantes earlier, a little fun fact from my personal knowledge, as we do have a player on Westside Roller Derby, and that is Bear with me. Double Whammy, number 19. They are actually a juniors skater playing Division 1 adult roller derby. Double Whammy has been selected for Team Australia Juniors, playing wonderfully all weekend. We're very proud of them for all they're achieving so far. A player to watch for, absolutely. Just seems to be a small confirmation between scores and the scoreboard, making sure everything's working properly, and we'll have derby action back again shortly. And there we go. Both Siebes and Jonesy from Westside guested for Convict City last night against VRDL after Westside had already played VRDL. So this is a mammoth weekend. There's been a lot of guesting due to all the havoc by Cyclone Alfred. So there's been a few swaps around, so big props to all those skaters pulling double duty as the action is back on. Trippy Tarka sneaks up the outside. Unfortunately, it is a no pass, so not lead. Convict City out second, gained lead. Didn't want to let Trippy get any points. Calls it off. No points a pass. Oh, and thank you, Stealth. Convict also has a Team Oz junior player with them for the first time. Cicada 00 played last night against VRDL. What wonderful, talented juniors. It's great to see the future of roller derby performing at such an elite level. I am biased myself from Dragon City. We have 2 coaches and 2 skaters on the Team Oz juniors. We love junior roller derby. And up again, looks like we have Crazy Jackal for West Side in a very, very tight pack. Oh, Jackal pushing out the front, trying to pick off players one by one. Grabs lead, but that is 0-1. Megs not far behind, chasing down. And Megs does a wonderful job for Convict City, putting the pressure on Westside and forcing the call off before any points can be grabbed. And Convict City with a Team Oz player, Blocky 025. That's fabulous. Look at all the talent we have across. I do know, thank you for the information about Convict City. This is wonderful news for me. I'm very excited to watch them play for the first time. I do know that Siebes the Day from Westside has made it to the Australian reserve team. So it's very wonderful to see just how much talent we have in Australian roller derby. And a big hit from Westside Jammer Jukebox there to grab lead up the outside. Looks like the Convict Jammer is just stuck behind some Westside defense, but their offense is coming in to help as Jukebox comes through for a scoring pass. And does so very successfully, and we've had a star pass. Convict didn't grab lead and immediately stashed that star. And we now have a new jammer, which is 188. Deadly Red. Unfortunately, Deadly Red was not able to come through for a scoring pass as Westside called it off well before they could re-enter the engagement zone. And you're so right, Stealth. The rest of our skaters are just awesome skating people. Heaps of talent, lots of love. And just a testament to how wonderful our derby community is. I'm loving all these fun facts and, about Convict and Westside and their long history together. Keep it up. So Club Slamwich here jamming for Westside, pushing out the front, trying to force a no pack. Gets the no pack calls, comes through for lead as our Convict jammer is recycled all the way to the back of the pack by Siebes the Day. And again by Massacre Jones. A lovely little juke there from Club Slamwich before being caught by a very strong Convict tripod. As 8-6 Apples is through for their initial pass. And there's the call from the bench. 3 points for Westside on that last one. It seems that everybody is settling into their game so far, and from all accounts I can see so far, it's going to be a very nicely close matched game. Oh, really? Apple's being referred to as Bad Wolf on the board. Oh, I'll have to go speak to them about that later then, shall I? And please do correct me if I do mix up some names here. I'm going off my information sheet I have here in front of me. as we get back underway. Some wonderful offense by player 188 for Convict City. Deadly Red giving beautiful offense, allowing her jammer to get lead. It seems we have had a star pass as well, and Victoria beat her, is holding the star in hand, trying to get through as the pivot. That has been successfully caught by some very strong Convict defense. And beautiful, beautiful footwork there from 7-3 push in boots. Just absolutely avoiding and being untouched by that West Side defense. And through again from a scoring pass. And again, just picking the gap beautifully, going straight through the arms of the West Side defensive players. And Victoria Beta has successfully completed their initial pass after the star pass. As expected, push in boots has gone, I'm not going to let that pivot come through for any points, and has successfully kept Westside scoreless with a 16-point jam. So that has really given Convict City a little bit of breathing room this early in the game. They're now sitting at 35 points compared to Westside's 13. Still anybody's game this early on, but a 16-point jam by push in boots there really must make them feel a bit more settled and a bit more comfortable this early on. I believe Westside has just taken this team time out. Probably a great opportunity for them to reflect on how these first 9 jams have gone for them, take some learnings back to the bench, readjust their strategy if needed, and take the action back on the track. Oh, and happy birthday yesterday for Club Slamwich. I do hope if they watch this back, they enjoy the little shout out. Perhaps I'll offer to buy them some lollies after this game as a happy birthday present. Because it is hard work jamming today. I can confirm I have just finished my game jamming. It is hot and sweaty, and it's only going to get hotter as the day goes on. So that is the end of our timeout as our players take back to the track. Looks like we have Crazy Jackal up for West Side. I will get more familiar with these Convict jammers as the game goes on. I do promise I am very, very interested to watch this. Again, very active movement off the line from these blocking pods as Siebes the Day just absolutely destroys the Convict tripod, allowing Jackal just to push and push, get the no pack call and come through for lead. That is wonderful offense by Siebes there. Now the Convict jammer has stashed the star here looking for their pivot. Jackal is through on a scoring pass. Just working slowly, trying to get hips in front, waiting for the offensive assist from Siebes there. It looks like double whammy and Hellcat and Massacre Jones from Westside are locking down the defense. Endeavour Death Roll and Siebes the Day, both pivots for both teams, just eyeing each other up, just keeping each other neutralized as much as possible. It is Megs jamming for Convict. I can see their number now. This is wonderful defense from both teams. I do not believe Jackal has got 4 points. This is their second scoring pass, but really having to work very, very hard. We must commend the beautiful, beautiful reforming defense from Westside as Megs is forced at the back to just push and push and push. Do have a fully split pack here, allowing Jackal to keep pushing forwards, trying to force a no pack call. And gets it. Looks at the bench. Takes a couple of big breaths in and gets the signal to call it off. So that is a hard-earned 8 points for Westside Roller Derby. And super commendable pack there from Massacre Jones, Hellcat, double whammy, holding back Megs, who had a wonderful few jams earlier. And again, the sync back from both teams, they're almost going from halfway between the pivot and jam line to sync all the way back, really crushing these jammers from the start, causing these really mixed up packs. This time it has worked in favour of Convict City, coming through for lead with Jukebox about a half a track behind, pushing Boots. And a quick call off there from Convict. So Push and Boots grabs 2 points, keeping Westside scoreless. Just trying to keep that lead ahead as much as they can. We do have a significant pack advantage now for Westside. I think it looks like it's 4 blockers for Convicts too. And that has worked very, very well for Westside. Club Sandwich coming out for lead, but not to be deterred. Those 8-6 Apples racing behind. And wonderful work there from Apples for Convict, as both jammers have really slammed in, coming in really hot, trying to sneak some hips in and get points. Westside grabbing 3, and Convict coming with a little bit of a point steal, grabbing 2 points on that last one. Guys, that's the camera. Don't touch that. Don't touch that. And that's a wonderful quick lead for Convict again. Trippy Taka from Westside really working on trying to pick off the Convict City players, as Push and Boots slips around for a scoring pass, successfully works their way up the outside line as Trippy is recycled to the back, has stashed the star, looking for help from the pivot. As Push and Boots does a little bit of truck and trailer, pushing down her blocker, but if it grabs the points, it grabs the points. And this is wonderful, fast, strategic derby from Convict City. They're really working on grabbing these quick leads, quick points, calling it off, trying to really extend the lead that they have currently bit by bit. So we are 15 minutes through the first half, and we are sitting with Convict City on 46 points, Westside Roller Derby 24. And I'm going to take this official timeout to have a quick look at our penalties. So Blocktopus with Convict City with 2 penalties so far. Nothing of concern. There's no repeats there. Let's have a quick look with Westside. And Siebes the Day, 2 directional penalties and a very, very clean gameplay so far, which is what we like to see. I'm unsure yet if it's been enforced, but it may well be. It looks like it has. There is a heat policy across this weekend from the advice of our wonderful first aid team, Deadly Sports Plus, requiring us to have a 5-minute heat break every 15 minutes. This is basically splitting up our game into quarters at this point. And this is for the safety of our skaters, making sure they have ample time to cool down, rehydrate, stand in front of the fans. It's also a good time for our Division 1 teams to talk about their strategy going into the next portion of gameplay. So to all my friends in the live stream today, are we sticking around and watching more roller derby for our final day of East Coast Clash? We do have one more Division 1 game today. We have Ward, Western Australian roller derby, taking on the South Sea Sirens over on track 1. As someone who played Ward yesterday, can confirm that that will be a really great game to watch. Ward have travelled from from Western Australia to be here. Cannot thank them enough for all the effort to travel all this way and bring their A game, because that was tough. But we also have back on track 2 with me, Killer Baggins. You'll have Geelong Roller Derby taking on Ballarat, and that'll be a fun Division 2 game to watch today as well. So this heat break will just last about another minute and a half, 2 minutes. It is just at the advice of Deadly Sports Plus, who are super, super lovely, but are very strict with making sure that we're taking care of ourselves on the track and off. And a big shout out from the live chat, Apples and Bad Wolf. You have some fans sending their love. I'm sure they'll enjoy the shout out when they watch the game back at another time. And that is our rolling whistle, signalling the end of our heat break as our players take to the track for the second quarter of our game. Westside is starting this jam with a pack advantage as the Convict City pivot is in the bin, allowing Crazy Jackal to really push out that pack early, force the no pack call and grab a nice lead for Westside. I believe this is the same tripod that gave Convict City some trouble before, with Hellcat, Double Whammy and Massacre Jones, with Steve Day offering consistent, unrelenting offense for Crazy Jackal as their jammer. Successfully so, grabbing 4 points and calling it off. No points there for Push in Boots as Convict City's jammer. And Westside really committing to having their pivot, staying with their jammer, providing consistent offense. Unfortunately, this time Jukebox is worked all the way to the outside line and forced to recycle to the back of the pack. Does force a penalty on one of our Convict blockers as well. Both jammers seemingly caught, but the Westside offense with that pack advantage really working to open up opportunities for Jukebox. Jukebox has stashed the star. I believe that negates them for lead, as lead has not yet been called. That is 0-1 jamming Megs for Convict City, with the opportunity to grab the only lead available for this jam. Convict City has released their blocker from the bin, has go straight in for very, very effective offense, opening up the inside line and giving Megs
a very, very clear inside lane to take to grab lead for Convict City. And again, that's 188 Deadly Red offering some very effective offense as Megs comes through for 4 points. Jukebox really consistently recycled, does hand off the star. So there is a star pass in play for Westside. Unfortunately, Liz Vegas is immediately recaptured and pushed to the outside by a very, very strong defensive pod there from Convict City. Meg's happy to run this one long as the Westside pivot Liz Vegas is consistently run to the back of the pack and recycled. Bit of a splat from Bleeder from Westside to finish that jam. That's a wonderful effort from Convict City. 12 points on the board, keeping Westside scoreless. And really wonderful offense again, I must say, from Deadly Red. They had set themselves up in the middle of the Westside tripod, keeping those butts apart and allowing for a quick lead for their jammer as Club Slamwich from Westside is working at the front of the pack on their initial. Westside does have 2 blockers in the bin, unfortunately, and this is allowing 7-3 push in boots from Convict to grab easy 4 points and calls it off before Club Slam, which can re-enter the engagement zone for a scoring pass. It's be interesting to see what Westside do here with only 2 blockers on the track. Thankfully, there's only 3 for Convict, so they're only down the 1 blocker disadvantage. Apples is doing fantastic work as the Convict jammer. But Intensive Clear Unit and Victoria Beta did a wonderful job holding back as long as they could, allowing just a couple of extra seconds to make sure that Trippy's not too far behind. Jam is only about a quarter of a track behind each other now. And that was sensational line work from Apples. Just checking. Yep, and Intensive Clean. It did take a bit of a tumble at the end, but is up and smiling. Just getting a quick check out, but everyone seems to be okay. But I must admit, that was an absolute slip. So it was a one-footed transition that I could see there from Apples to sneak up the inside, grabbing all those points. Beautiful footwork. And again, these really tight packs off the jam line, causing a lot of mayhem and confusion. But Push in Boots makes the most of it yet again, grabbing another lead status for Convict City as Crazy Jackal works on a strong tripod out the front on their initial. Whoop. Bit of a tumble there, but everyone's back up. Wonderful work there from Push and Boots, but all love between these teams, as we've said before. Giving a big heart sign to Siebes the Day from Westside, trapped in the bin as they call off that jam. Convict City have really settled into their gameplay now. They're really finding effective strategies against Westside to grab these quick leads in this very, very messed up packs. As you can see, all these players are just squished together. Constantly rotating and reforming, trying to get prime position in front of the pack. Club Slamwich working for Westside. Down to 2 blockers, trying to make the most of it as Megs is trapped against a Westside tripod at the back. club sandwich for Westside, grabbing lead. Not far behind, though. That is 025? Might be 005 for Convict City. Blocktopus for Convict City coming through. I believe it has taken the star pass and coming through hot, ready to score some more points. Westside is happy to keep running this one. They want to keep adding up on their scoreboard tally. And very nicely done from both teams there. Almost point for point. Entirely point for point. 8 points apiece for both teams there, bringing Convict City to 78 and Westside on 36. And that's wonderful work from Push and Boots there, just slipping it to the side of the Westside defense. Both jammers, though, are neck and neck. Trippy Taka right behind. Push realizing that Trippy's a little too close behind and calls it off right as they re-enter the pack. Double donuts, no points for either team, but wonderful pressure to force that call off from Westside. We have Apples now with Crazy Jackal on the start line. Oh, that's beautiful footwork from Apples. A little dance up the inside line, grab just a toe stop of room. And again, slipped up the inside. That is wonderful footwork from Convict City jammer Apples there. Star pass has been taken. Victoria Beta is now the jammer for Westside. Oh, unfortunately, a hop and a skip and a trip to the penalty box for Apples with a cut track. This is an opportunity now for pivot turn jammer Victoria Beta to make the most of this opportunity for Westside. A few tumbles with Convict City, and we may have a call off. No, everyone's up and okay. This is good to see. We don't want any injuries in roller derby. If they do happen, we want to avoid them as much as possible. I believe it's Apples has just been sent to the bin number 86. This is the information I have on my sheet. Please correct me if you think I might be wrong so I can update my information for you guys. Both jammers now back on track and both working against some strong defense. I do have 8-6 with Apples on the back of the shirt with the star on, doing this wonderful footwork. I may go introduce myself at halftime because if it is Bad Wolf, they've got the wrong shirt on. Thank you so much for correcting me in the live chat. I do appreciate it. They have really worked at breaking apart the Westside defense as Victoria Beta has come through also. There was a few tumbles on that one. I believe everyone's just going to make sure we're all okay. That's a big, big effort from both teams. And Westside must be chuffed to have earned a very, very hard-earned 1 point. Some good camaraderie there. Victoria Beta looks absolutely spent. But everyone seems to be okay. I will confirm at halftime for my lovely live chat here if Bad Wolf is in fact wearing Apple's uniform. And I'll make a little note for my next half to make sure that I'm calling everybody the correct names and giving them compliments on their footwork by the correct name. So we're just having a team timeout for Convict City, I believe. Just having a little chat on the middle of the track. Bring it back in and just keep this gameplay clean. We did have a fair few tumbles in this weather. These are very strategically used team timeouts as well. It's not just for strategy, it's also to give our players a chance to breathe after a big jam like that. Reset, refocus, get ready for the next one. Five seconds has been called, end of the timeout. And we are back on, all players on track, and just beautiful, beautiful work up the inside from Convict, allowing Push and Boots to barely touch any defensive players and just slip up the inside for lead. But Jukebox, the jammer from Westside, working up the front, trying to break apart the seam and pick off players to make their initial. An attempted jammer on jammer there. Jukebox did stick out some hips, trying to stop Push and Boots from getting through unsuccessfully though. Bit of a hop up the inside there from Push and Boots, grabbing 2 points on that second scoring pass, so 6 points total for that last jam. And Convict were taking the front there, attempting to crush Westside's defense. And Megs was able to capitalize on that, break them apart a little bit and grab another lead for Convict as Club Slamwich works on the last block of the pivot, trying to get through on their initial. And there comes a very lovely sweep from Convict, allowing Megs on a scoring pass. And that brings up triple digits for Convict City with that last jam. They've really pulled ahead in these last sort of 10, 15 minutes. Now sitting at 100 points. I love when it scores nice and even. Westside with 37 as we get ready for the next jam. Neck and neck exiting the pack. Looks like Tripitaka from Westside has grabbed lead over Push in Boots, but it is a chase down here. Oh, lovely, lovely work. There's a hop from the apex from Push in Boots while Trippy had taken the outside lane. 2 points for Westside, 3 points for Convict, so a bit of a point steal there. That was beautiful from both jammers. And that brings us to our intermission. Now, my mission for this intermission is to go confirm whether I should be calling them Apples or Bad Wolf. I will confirm that and come back with the information at halftime. Now, we're going to do one more thank you to Deadly Sports Plus as they take care of all our skaters after some big hits in lots of heat. And thank you to all our refs and officials for keeping us all skating safely. So we'll be back in 20 minutes. This is an extra long intermission, again, due to our heat policy. So we'll be back in about 20 minutes, and I'll come back with more information for you then. Thank you.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the second half of our game here between Convict City Derby and Westside Roller Derby. As we left off at half-time, Convict City have broken triple figures, sitting at 103 points, with Westside on 39. Now, I did do my recon and my research over the intermission, and yes, Bad Wolf is playing under the jersey of 8-6 Apples. So that's why you may have seen Bad Wolf's name up on your screen as the jammer. So I have corrected my information in front of me. So Bad Wolf playing under number 86 today. And we do have a fairly clean game so far. We do have Deadly Red and Dever Death Roll from Convict sitting on 3. So that's not too much concern at this point. Westside lighter on the derbies, lighter on the penalties throughout their team, but Seems a Day does have 3 directional penalties, so we want to keep an eye out for that and limit that. So less than 2 minutes to go until we return to the track. Teams now just doing their last team chance before retaking the track. So looks like Convict City is sending out number 7-3 Push in Boots to start off this second half as their jammer, with Club Slamwich up from Westside. We do have the Convict City pivot in the bin to start. So there is a 4-3 pack advantage for Westside as we start in the second half. There is the rolling whistle. We are almost underway. Five seconds is called, and we're back with the second half. More Derby. Club Sandwich taking on Push in Boots. Both jammers trying to work around some wonderful defense, and all blockers trying to work around some really revolving offense. Push in Boots this time grabbing lead for Convict City. Club Slamwich recycled to the back of the pack and uses the confusion of Push in Boots coming through the scoring pass to throw in the initial. Unfortunately, is sent to the bin with a penalty. So we do have a Convict City power jam. Push in Boots looks to their bench and they go, no, we're going to ice Club Slamwich and give ourselves as much of a head start with this power start as possible. For the first time in a little while, we see Westside trying to claim the pivot line. Both teams starting all the way forward. As Convict City sends up 0-1, Megs take this power start. And just beautiful team offense, allowing Megs to slip up the inside line, grabbing a very, very quick lead. And Convict City doing a really wonderful job of grabbing 2 goats. So 2 players, 2 blocking players, held them at the back of the pack, guaranteeing points to their jammer and stopping them from rejoining a tripod to stop Megs. Unfortunately, Megs has found the end of Seems the Day, which is not a blocker you want to face, can confirm. As Westside resettle into their defensive units. Club Slamwich back on the track now. Still working on their initial, so Megs is happy to push at the back of the pack there for a little while longer, trying to sneak some hits through and grab points. As Club Slamwich bridges out all of Convict City's defense and gets through on their initial.
And it is really excellent to watch these Division 1 teams. They move from defense to offense so quickly. So as soon as they release that jammer, they are back providing offense for their jammer, either to get through in their initial or score some points, in this case, allowing 4 points for push in boots before Club Sandwich could even come around for a scoring pass. And the very, very effective team sweep to the inside, proving successful again for Convict City and for 7-3 push in boots. Jukebox, though, not far behind. But push in boots does a very, very fancy little toe stop hop up the inside, grabs 3 points, and calls off well before Jukebox can re-enter that pack. This is wonderful, wonderful fast derby from both teams here. So now we have 8-6, who is Bad Wolf, playing under the jersey of Apples, up jamming for Convict City with Crazy Jackal from Westside. An attempt there from Bad Wolf to take the inside line, again running into Siebes the Day. Does, however, grab lead jammer status and slips up the outside this time, just to keep things interesting. Crazy Jackal pushing and pushing, passes off the jammer star to Siebes the Day as a pivot, so star pass has been taken by Westside. Bad Wolf using her wonderful team offense to break apart that pack and grabbing themselves 4 more points. The Convict City Jammers are consistently going for the inside line, and it's probably because they're consistently finding a success with it. 7-3, that is push in boots, once again utilizing the inside to grab lead jammer status. Club Sandwich maybe half a track behind, trying to see if she can catch up and score points. Unfortunately, recycled to the back as push in boots meets very, very little resistance, sliding up the inside and the outside due to some very well-timed positional offense from her defensive blockers. So Club Sandwich has come through and scored 4 points. It's coming through from a scoring pass. It seems that Convict at this stage is happy to run it a little bit longer. Looking to her bench for instructions. They want to keep it running. They want to increase this lead. They trust in push to keep scoring points for their team. Push there, takes a big knock to the inside, has had enough of that, calls it off. So looks like they grabbed all 4 points before calling it, so it's a 16-point jam there. Westside were able to get 8 points, but Convict still just pushing ahead that lead bit by bit. A few tumbles at the jam line there. Jukebox seems to have successfully made the most of that, grabbing lead status for Westside. A much needed lead. And once again, 0-1 Megs has met Siebes the Day, but very, very well done from Convict City to then push Siebes out, allowing Megs to go straight back on the track and keep going for their initial pass. Incredibly well-timed call off there from Jukebox, calling for 3 points right as Megs was about to re-enter that pack, but kept them at 0 points to that jam. few tumbles at the beginning there, and that is push in boots. Utilising actually Westside's offensive player pushing in to help their jammer as an opening for them to sneak through and grab lead. Coming in super hot to that pack, causing chaos, grabbing all 4 points, calling it off before Crazy Jackal could come through for a scoring pass there. So Bad Wolf now returns to the track as the jammer for Convict City up against Club Sandwich. There is a 4-3 pack advantage for Westside. Can they capitalise on this opportunity? And they have. Club Sandwich through for lead. Bad Wolf hot on her tails. Jam still running. And there's an opportunity here for Westside as Bad Wolf is sent to the bin. Convict City's defense here is doing a really, really good job of capturing Club Sandwich. Seems to be a bit of confusion here between Bench and Jammer, and they've called for a timeout to clarify a few bits. But they have, for the very least, successfully iced Bad Wolf in the bin, giving them a good head start heading into this next jam. And our wonderful officials doing a bit of track maintenance. So a big thank you to not only our officials, but our wonderful venue, Darebin Community Sports Stadium. They have provided wonderful facilities for us to use exclusively all weekend. The venue itself, while the weather has not been great, has been wonderful, wonderful. We cannot thank them enough for hosting us all long weekend. And also to our officials. So many have been doing double duty. I was speaking to Crush from Kingston City Rollers before, who has officiated 6 games over the course of the weekend, while also playing 4. So, well, just goes to prove how many volunteer hours go into putting together an event like this. Not just the event organisers, but everyone volunteering their time. Yes, that includes me. I'm happy to take the compliments. It goes straight to my head. This timeout's just running a little longer while they fix up these inside lines that Convict City is sneaking up so successfully. And if you are on the live stream with me, make some noise. Say your favorite plays, your favorite action. Are you enjoying the game and the tournament so far? Are you sticking around to watch Ballarat take on Geelong Roller Derby on this track up next? As the rolling whistle is called, players back on track, ready to get started once more. So they're sending out Jukebox for Westside as the jammer for this power start here. Westside coming up the inside, looking for a sweep as the pack runs away. I do know, however, Jukebox is so fast and slippery that a fast pack won't deter them much as Bad Wolf is released from the bin. Almost snuck up the inside to meet the receiving end of, believe that's Florence the Machine. Maybe wrong there. No, Massacre Jones. I do apologise. Much needed 4 points for Westside Roller Derby. A lot of Derby is about momentum shifts. As a player myself, I do understand that having a big points differential can feel disheartening, but feeling a few leads happen in a row can really change the tide in your game and really boost morale and change momentum. As we have Crazy Jackal now. Believe that's pushing Boots as well, as the pack has come to almost a complete stop on the inside line there. Everyone's just settled in trying to catch these jammers. Blocktopus doing a wonderful job providing offense and then switching back to defense, as Crazy Jackal has emerged in front of the pack trying to push ahead, as Westside tries to contain the wonderfully slippery push in Boots. And Push does successfully grab lead as Jackal works on one last blocker for their initial pass. Westside setting up to catch Push, but there is consistent offense from Convict, just really messing up their wonderfully set tripods. Push again does run into Siebes. Again, not the blocker you particularly want to run into, as Crazy Jackal successfully comes through and grabs 4 points on a scoring pass. I do love to see pivots off. So Blocktopus for Convict City and Siebes the Day for Westside there, both eyeing each other up, trying to neutralize them both from doing offense for their respective teams. Often offense can just be trying to neutralize the other person's offense. Oh yes, a big question from Stealth. Who is going to Northern Rivers in Byron Bay in a few weeks? Unfortunately, we were not able to go Dragon City this year, but we did go last year. It's a wonderful event. Ask me all the questions you want about Northern Rivers Revolt. It is a fantastic tournament. I want to hear all about who's going this year. As Club Slamwich breaks apart, does a big hit and comes through for lead. Meg's really working with a big force out from Victoria, beat her, forcing her to the back of that pack. That's wonderful, wonderful defense from Westside there. An intensive clean-it from Westside, really just guiding Megs back into a very set Westside tripod. As Club Slamwich works up the front, trying to score all 4 points, also gets recycled to the back. It's a revolving door of recycling here. Yes, you'll have a wonderful time in Northern Rivers Revolt in 2 weeks, as both of our jammers are stuck behind their respective tripods. Northern Rivers is a wonderful, wonderful tournament. We love to see all kinds of regional roller derby across Australia. There's a wonderful caravan park nearby with a splash pool. Can confirm that that's the best time ever. And that the host, Tweed Rivers, are wonderful, wonderful people, and it's a great opportunity to have more derby. That's a big effort from both jammers there. That was some very strong defense put up by both teams, making it very, very hard work to keep pushing to try and grab more points. Westside were able to keep Convict scoreless and grab themselves 4 points. And we have Bad Wolf up against Jukebox again. We've seen this pairing a couple of times. They do seem to enjoy it. And once again, Bad Wolf just slipping up the inside line. And Jukebox not deterred, taking the outside. Both jammers came in super hot to that pack. Seems that Bad Wolf was successful in grabbing all 4 points. I was blocked by a few heads in the way, couldn't quite see what was going on, but 4 points there to Convict City. Oh, and we have Blocktopus jamming now for Convict City up against Crazy Jackal. We do have a pack advantage as well. Convict City with 4 to Westside's 3. And they've gone for the squeeze again, successfully allowing Blocktopus to come through for a very, very quick lead. Westside doing their best to mess up this pack, allowing for opportunities for Crazy Jackal as Blocktopus comes back around again. Oh, lovely, lovely toe stop work. It's just hit right on the inside, done one little hop, Slipped through for 4 points. Beautiful work by Loctopus there. Oh, lovely. Just a slip to the outside, little bean dip. Has grabbed 3 points, but was recaptured for a moment by Westside's defense. We do love a Blocktopus jam. That was really, really well done. Some excellent, just textbook toe stop hops up the inside. A beautiful bean dip on the outside. Just showing us all how it's done, really. And successfully grabbing 8 points for their team. And at the very last second, as Convict City was racing skaters to the track, they have called a very, very well-timed timeout. I will take this opportunity to really highlight it again that Northern Rivers Revolt in Byron Bay is in a few weeks. It is a wonderful opportunity for teams from Northern New South Wales and Southeast Queensland to get together. My association, Dragon City Roller Derby from Bendigo, Victoria. We're very lucky to be invited last year with our friends from Northeast Roller Derby based in Wangaratta to go up as Nerdy Dragons and play 5 games in 2 days. It was a big, big effort. So it is a wonderfully run event. Everyone there was super lovely, as you can expect with Derby. And Byron Bay is a wonderful place to go play Derby for a weekend. So have fun to everyone attending that event in a few weeks' time. A bit closer to home, our Victorian teams, including some skaters from Westside, will be starting our statewide Stampede tournament in about a month, a bit under a month. So the first round is hosted by us. Yay! Dragon City Roller Derby hosting round 1 of statewide Stampede on April 5th in Bendigo. So Westside are not putting up the Glory as their team for this year, as they are now a Division 1 team, but they are teaming up with said team from Northeast Roller Derby to put together a mashup team to compete in our pool with Dragon City. So very excited to play them at some stage this year. I believe that this team timeout has also turned into our heat policy timeouts. This will be a longer break for our skaters, and it looks like both benches are really taking this opportunity to talk about victories and points to improve on and how they can continue making the most of this game. But I do think for all our viewers on the live stream today that the next 2 games will be a tough choice to choose between what you're watching. Ballarat versus Geelong Roller Derby here on track 2 with me, Kilbo Baggins. Now, having played both of these teams, I can confirm that this will be a wonderful upcoming game. They have very different jamming styles, which I always believe leads to a very interesting game to watch. However, over on track 1, we have the South Sea Sirens, their Division 1 team, up against Western Australia Roller Derby Ward of the Skate, apologies. From personal experience, I also played Ward yesterday with the Chico Rollers, and it was an incredibly tough game, and Ward were incredible team. So we're really grateful to all our travelling teams, both Convict City here in our game currently, Ward from all the way across Australia, from Western Australia, as unfortunately, as we know, we did lose a few teams to Cyclone Alfred, but I'm sure we'll see Sun State Roller Derby and BCR very soon. And we do hope that they've all stayed safe during the cyclone. I used to live in Brisbane. A lot of my friends have said it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but we're all making sure that everyone's staying safe up north. We promise. We've been checking in. All right, rolling whistle has been called. Our heat break has been taken. Our skaters look somewhat refreshed, considering we're playing at about 90% humidity and about 33 degrees predicted today. We're all set up. Club Slamwich up on the line with push-in boots. 5 seconds is called, and we're about to get underway for our last quarter of this match. Bit of a tumble there from Siebes. And successfully just slams out push-in boots there, who is then recaptured by wonderfully strong West Side defense. This has allowed Club Slamwich to work on the tripod at the top of the track and grab lead for their team. An attempted star pass, but not successfully completed. Blocktopus almost ran away with it. A bit of a fall on each other, but everyone's smiling as they get up as Club Slamwich works again at the front of the pack. So unsuccessful star pass there was not completed. So we've had push-in boots recollect the star. Blocktopus rejoin the pack from the front of the engagement zone to make sure everyone's legally in play. And right as push-in boots gets out, Westside have called that jam with all 4 points. It is an interesting rule, the unsuccessful star pass. I was a victim of it in the previous game with Team Rouge of Victoria against the East Vic Witches. If that star pass is incomplete, the pivot must return to the engagement zone in anti-derby direction. They must wait there safely for the jammer to re-enter gameplay. In my scenario earlier, my jammer was in the bin. As we get started, Megs has utilised some wonderful sweeping offense from her team to grab lead for Convict City as Jukebox wiggles and shoves their way to the front of the pack. Takes a big double knee fall as they exit for their initial, as Meg still works at the back trying to grab as many points as possible before calling it off. Be interested to see, yes, 2 points for Megs and 1 point steal by Jukebox there. So we've seen a fair few lineups with a very short jammer rotation this game. So we have Crazy Jackal for Westside up with Bad Wolf. Bad Wolf immediately trying the inside line from Westside, who seem to have really knuckled down on that. Bad Wolf then switching to the outside, testing that, and then slipping right through the middle, grabbing lead. Crazy Jackal has stashed the star, looking to either move to the front or look for their pivot. As Bad Wolf comes through for a scoring pass. Really working on beautiful pushing, trying to sneak around both lanes to get as many points as possible. Looks to their bench. And then calls it off. I thought for a second that was a penalty. I do apologize. Yes, grabs, all 4 points, calls it off. And was not given a penalty. Club Slamwich with push-in boots again. We've seen this pair up a few times. Big run up by push-in boots there. Trying to get as much momentum into this West Side defense as possible. And very, very wonderful toe stop work right on that outside apex. Thankfully, right in front of the camera for you all to see as well, as Club works on the Convict defense as much as they can. And that's just wonderful jamming there from Push and Boot, sliding all the way up the outside and opening up a full 2 lanes on the inside for them to sneak up. When you're playing Derby at this higher level, you're coming in so fast that any lane and any gap is big enough for you to take when you're already coming in with that much speed. And done so again. Now Club Slam, which has removed the star on the other side of the track, while that is Blocktopus working on keeping the pivot away from her jammer. As Push and Boost comes in for yet another scoring pass. And Club finally finds success right as the jam is called. So we now have less than 10 minutes of Derby left, and Convict City have really found their rhythm. They are claiming the pivot line. They are sinking back all the way onto West Side and trying to open up lanes either on the inside or the outside, most commonly the inside, for their jammers to take. And it's reflecting on the scoreboard as well, with Convict City now sitting on 174 after that last 14-point jam, and Westside Roller Derby sitting on 71 points. And Westside have taken this opportunity to take a team time out, probably their last one for this half. And lots of love pouring in for Convict City from their friends watching a live stream from across the Tasman. No, wait. From Tasmania. I'll just say from Tasmania. I'm not going to do too much geography today. My brain's pretty fried after 3 games in 3 days. I do apologise. End of timeout, rolling whistle called, and we're setting up with Megs up with Jukebox. And it's a different start from both teams, opting for the runaway, proving super successful for Megs, grabbing an early lead. There is a few tumbles, and as such, a few penalties called. Westside sending one of them, having their blocker double whammy sent to the bin. Jukebox powering through up the outside on their initial as Megs tries to work as many points as possible. I do believe that Jukebox was able to steal a single point there. Yes, confirmed by the jam ref there. And 2 points for Megs for Convict City. So it's the last push. We've got less than 8 minutes left to go. Everyone's hot and sweaty. Let's see what we can pull out. And again, Push and Boots just really finding any space on that inside line. Crazy Jackal finding themselves trapped amongst some formidable defense. Victoria Beta looking for a cut track call there, was unsuccessful. Push and Boots successfully coming through on a scoring pass there, grabbing 4 points. And really wonderful work there by Push and Boots. They're really working on separating the butts on West Side, then attacking the dagging player, and then cutting back through for the brace. But this time just elects to hop up the outside and not touch anybody at all. Looks to the bench. They want to keep running it. They want more points. Crazy Jackal is still working on their initial. Stashed the star, but has not passed it off to the pivot at this stage. And Push in Boots working hard for those points. Does get taken to the outside. Victoria beat her, doing the most, trying to run them all the way back, but Bad Wolves had enough of, sorry, I do apologize, Push in Boots had enough of that. Calls it off with 16 points. Yes, Boots indeed. All right, 5 seconds. Again, Convict City really electing for the pivot line, trying to sink all the way back to help out Bad Wolf, their jammer. It is fantastic to watch, just the elite level toe stop work by all these Convict City jammers. If there's a gap, they will take it. Club Slam, which are released from the front of the pack now on their initial. And Bad Wolf just slips around the outside of the hips of Siebes the Day and grabs all 4 points and calls it off. So we're down to our last 5 minutes now. I know Convicts will be eyeing 200 points, as we have Megs up with Jukebox. Blocktopus and Vixen there from Convict City going in for the full squeeze against Westside's defense. Successfully got Megs to the front of the pack, but Jukebox slipping through and grabbing lead for Westside there as Megs is unfortunately recycled to the back. Takes off the star as Jukebox comes through for a scoring pass. And Convict City has successfully completed their star pass. I believe that's Blocktopus now as their new jammer. Does not get an opportunity to rejoin the pack, though. The jam is called there. Westside grabbing all 4 points. Saw that coming. There was no Westside players on the track. The benchie's having a good smile with the team from Convict on the track and has called a team timeout at the very last second. So with 3 minutes left to go of our game today, who are your MVPs for this game? This has been a really, really wonderful opportunity for both teams to play at Division 1 roller derby and play very, very hard in very tough conditions. I've seen some wonderful things from all players across the track. A Blocktopus jam was a bit of a highlight. I'll be studying the toe stop work of these Convict City jammers, trying to replicate that amongst my own game, because that is sensational. But I really enjoyed the blocking of some of these Westside pods from people like Double Whammy, Siebes the Day, and excuse me, Victoria Beta, all doing really wonderful jobs today. And the teams in general, like, it's such a big, big effort and having to work as a team. So now we have Push in Boots back on the track up against Crazy Jackal. Bit of limbo happening there from Double Whammy. Bent all the way back, but was able to keep their feet to try and trap Push in Boots for as long as possible. And really good reforming there from Westside as well. One of their blockers was sent to the bin, and they managed to collect themselves long enough to hold Push in Boots for just that little bit longer. Jackal hears the 2 whistles for lead, immediately stashes that star, giving themselves as much opportunity as possible. And Siebes the Day looked for a track cut, looked to the refs, and was successful. Push in boots has been sent to the bin. So it is a power jam and a 2-minute jam for Westside. Let's see if they can make the most opportunity with Crazy Jackal successfully through on their initial. Star back on, ready to score some points. Westside faking out offense almost. They've looked to come forward and then immediately stopped, immediately forcing a no-pack call and for Convict City to start bridging. 4 points there for Crazy Jackal as Push in Boots is back on the track. And another star pass. Push in Boots has come back from the bin and immediately handed off to 00, whose name I do not have on my list. So please tell me who my jammer is. They're doing a wonderful job. We love to pivot to 10 jammers. Oh, I believe this is Cicada. Yes, one of our, I believe earlier in the comments, they were saying Cicada 00 playing for Convict City, one of the Team Australia juniors. We love to see it. So that was a 8-point jam for Westside Roller Derby and 3 points awarded to Convict City. We are down to what might be our last jam with Club Slamwich and Blocktopus back as a jammer. Oh, sorry. That was just a complete run from jam line to pivot line by Blocktopus right on the rope on their toe stops. Beautifully done. Comes in, does a little bean dip under the tripod. Semi-caught by Westside. Club Slamwich now also on a scoring pass. Blocktopus through that first scoring pass of 4 points, as is Club Slamwich, about half a track behind. Convict setting up some sweeping offense from the inside. Couple of people down, but everyone's smiling and up pretty quickly. We're all good. Another lovely bean dip on the outside there from Blocktopus, looking to their bench and calling it off with 12 points to Westside's 8. Still a mammoth effort there from Club Slamwich to grab those 8 points for Westside. So that was our final jam. We're just waiting on our official rolling whistle, and there it is. So a huge well done to both teams there. We have our final scores sitting with Convict City Derby, 211 points. They did break that 200 in those last few jams. Westside Roller Derby on 92. So Westside, coming into the second half, Convict City started very strong, but Westside has finished equally as strong, grabbing some more points and putting up a very solid effort. This was a fantastic game to watch. Thank you everyone for joining me in the live stream, brought to you today by our streaming partner, Maven Mauve. And you can join me, Kilbo Baggins, everyone's favorite, yay, for the next game up here on track 2, which is Ballarat versus Geelong. I'm very excited to watch that. Or you can switch over to track 1, which will be Western Australia Roller Derby Ward taking on the South Sea Sirens. And indeed, a fantastic job by both teams. Lots of love shared. Thank you again for joining me. We'll see you shortly for our next matchup with Geelong and Ballarat. Thank you so much.